Is the Algorand Foundation about to uncap the supply of Algorand? I'm going to tell you this is something that is going around the Algorand community right now, and the foundation has not said anything about it, but my sources tell me it's not something that's completely off the table. So we are going to dive into this news and look at some stuff going on about this, along with a bunch of other Algorand news today. And we do got some great news today. Algorand bringing a new green energy audit program onto chain, and a system that's going to be on chain verifying green energy usage. The UNDP, which is the UN Development something, I can't find out what that P means, although I've went to their website and everything, not in there, but they just opened their call for their blockchain academy in partnership with Algorand. Haystack volume keeps climbing. They're a sponsor of the channel, been using that myself, have it, and major concerns are abound about the Algorand Foundation's selling, which is kind of fueling some of this rumor about the uncap, whether Algorand Foundation is going to uncap the supply. So we're going to dive into all that today on today's Frugal PC. By the way, guys, if you like this stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now, remember, you don't have to smash it. You just press it gently, and it works just fine that way, too. And by the way, we are brought to you by Haystack, built on Algorand. Easy way to trade on the Algorand blockchain. You can do it right from your phone. It is mobile first, UI friendly. And a number of you have signed up through my referral link, and I see you trading, so good for you. You can join that community today by checking out the link down below, and then you can start referring people to and earning. Also, we're brought to you by Marcus Aurelius, a meme coin and NFT project on the Algorand blockchain, spreading the word about stoicism. Both of these founders are great. The Marcus founder is awesome, always building, doing lots of really cool stuff. So check both of those out in the description below. And do join our channel members. If you want to get exclusive videos, we do one once a week where I go through my portfolio, my bull run portfolio, and I go through some of the crypto projects, especially some of the Algorand projects that I'm going through on a regular basis. Give you a breakdown. You get to see in real time what I'm doing with those and how they're working. And I'm about to wrap up one major one that I talked about in yesterday's video, so definitely go check that out. Available to channel level 2 members. Otherwise, let's get into today's show. Now, to start off, Algorand is bringing this new green energy audit system on chain. We're going to dive into what this means and why it's important, but they just announced this earlier today. Here we go. Algorand Foundation Bullfrog Power has launched a pilot using Algorand to issue secure, permanent, and publicly accessible digital sustainability certificates, giving customers and auditors transparent proof of renewable energy consumption. Translated into normal people language, basically this system allows people to verify that the renewable energy that you say you're consuming, you're actually consuming it. There's your much more simpler to understand interpretation. So basically, you'll be able to certify the renewable energy consumption. Now, this is important because some people get like credits for using a certain amount of power and stuff like that. So this is why this is important. Now, they get a customized Algorand Explorer that lets users easily verify every attribute on chain. So basically, this company is already doing this, and this just allows them to put it on chain, make it much more easily verifiable. I'm telling you, they should hire me to write this stuff because I can put it in a way that people actually understand. I always have to go through it a little bit and read it and try to reinterpret it into the kind of language that normal people actually understand. But that's great news. One more partnership under Algorand's belt, which is awesome. And that's enough on that. We'll get to the next item. And the next one on our docket is the UNDP. Now, that stands for the United Nations Development. I don't know what the P means. I went to their website. I went to their Twitter account. Everything, even the About page, it doesn't say what the D stands for or the P stands for. Project, I guess, probably, but we don't really know. But anyway, the UNDP, which is pretty much how they refer to themselves, has this blockchain academy. So let's dive in what this means. It's a partnership with Algorand is why we care about it. So this is from France.algo for real this time. UNDP launches its second open call for its blockchain academy in partnership with the Algorand Foundation. Staff from the UNDP, UNCFD, and UN volunteers can learn about blockchain thanks to Algorand. Already 500 plus participants trained across 130 countries since launch. So the idea is they have some combination of self-paced modules and live expert sessions, case studies, hands-on project work, etc. And you can sign up for this. I don't know a ton about it. I haven't tried it myself, but it is sponsored by Algorand Foundation, which is pretty interesting. So now there's some mixed responses. Some are happy about this. Like here's CEX Scan says, nice to see Algo getting some love from the UNDP, while Algo Numbers says UNDP are a bunch of globalist scumbags. So kind of a mixed bag there, but overall, I mean, it's great that they're sharing the word about blockchain and getting people involved. 500 seems like a little low actually for a training module that's as big as the UN across the whole world. So hopefully that grows a little more, but you should probably check it out if you're interested in learning more about blockchain. And next up, Haystack volume keeps climbing. Now, and I always have to disclose it, but you guys know it because I say it every single time. Haystack is a sponsor of the channel. And it's the same guys that were formerly the non-fungible domains folks, the Transaction Labs. Great company. I've known John from Haystack/NFD for, pretty much since the second Decipher in 2022. Very good founder, but they're really having some success with this platform. So why don't we take a look here? And this is just a look at the volume. Not a lot to say here other than you can see from launch compared to now, it has really taken off daily volume going through the charts. They had a nice little spike here, but you can just see overall those lines are filling in versus the major spikes. So it just keeps going up into December. This is what you want to see. You want to see more volume when you build one of these platforms. I think this is awesome. Congrats to the Haystack team. And, I still think you should check out non-fungible domains as well. They're selling these .algo addresses. And so you can get that works in place of your address. You can put that in any address bar just about and use it instead of like LVR192, whatever. I just made that up. It's not a real address or even the start of one. And it's just a lot. It makes doing everything in Algorand just so much easier. I kind of miss promoting it just because I think it still is an awesome thing to have. And I was grandfathered in, so I just had to pay once. And now it's like a yearly fee, but it's pretty minimal. So I would definitely recommend checking that out as well. One of the things that has people pretty upset generally in the Algorand world is the amount of selling that the Algorand Foundation is doing to fund operations. So we're going to take a look at about the amount that's being sold lately, which is frankly quite a bit. So Bullish says Algorand Foundation sold more than 530 million algo units in the last 12 months. That's crazy sell. I'd say that's a crazy sell, from 8.27 billion to 8.8 billion into circulation during the bear market. It's more concerning, and I'll explain that in a second when I finish. They will sell another 1.2 billion algo in the next couple of years. They mint another 10 billion probably. Well, that's going to lead to our next point, our next segment. But just think about that. In 1 year, they went from 8.27 to 8.8 billion. Now, what happens? Now, remember that the Algorand Foundation had to pay World Chess to use their system, which I think is still crazy. That'll never not seem crazy to me. Now, supposedly Solana paid Western Union. I've heard Solana said that that's not true, so who knows? But this one we know is true. We know the foundation has actually incentivized World Chess to use all the extra stuff that they're doing for their platform. Seems crazy to me, but think about this. Now, remember, they bring in 200,000 a year in fees. 200,000. That is next to nothing compared to their burn rate. They're having to sell 530 million algo to fund their operations. Now, some people have brought up the fact that they have like a crazy huge staff. Like there are people on here, like there's like director of people or something. Like, what does that even do? There's just a lot of like positions on there that seem superfluous. Stuff you'd expect at a much larger corporation that's actually has real revenue coming in. Now, that revenue drop is a huge drop, by the way, because John Allen Woods, when he was on our show a couple of years ago, said that the Algorand Foundation was bringing about $2 million in fees, which is still too low to fund operations, but at least it's like more than 200,000. That was the latest figure, which we shared in an earlier video. So very concerning. Radagast says new algo can't be minted. Actually, yes. So we're going to find out. Let's go to our next segment because this ties right. This transitions right into it. And the next segment, the last thing we're going to talk about today, and probably the most important, will Algorand Foundation uncap supply. And I can tell you, I've did a little questioning behind the scenes. This is a serious proposal that is not off the table. Now, there hasn't been said anything officially yet, but it is something that is at least not off the table, I will tell you, because just about nothing is off the table at this point. The idea that Algorand could uncap supply now, I'll just read what I wrote. Why don't we just go through this and then we can kind of pontificate on here. I'm working on getting to the bottom of this idea that Algorand could uncap its supply. Like I've said, not confirmed yet, so I just want to be really careful about saying that. It is something that is being discussed in the community, and that's why we're talking about it. And I will tell you, I have confirmed that it is not off the table. That I know for sure. But for now, I will say that if it turns out to be true, it'll be a major unraveling for the chain. Price would plummet. And I do think that. Although I think people over-index on supply, they forget demand matters too. This would exacerbate the lack of supply with an inflated supply. Oops, boy, this is what happens when I do it on my phone. It's no good. Very concerned about this because I think this is a really bad idea. Now, people will say, I have people in my chat saying, yeah, there's only 10 billion and it's almost all the circulating supply is out. It does not matter. It just doesn't matter. In fact, the selling, I don't think you can say that the selling is a problem, but also not be concerned about continuing inflation beyond the 10 billion. But the demand has to be there. And if the demand isn't there, it kind of doesn't matter. But the uncapping the supply, in my opinion, makes that even worse because you have even more supply coming out with still what's really a lack of demand compared to what you'd want to see to make this chain sustainable. So I also said, I think psychologically the impacts would be worse. People are already not happy about the price action. And I should have said also with the dumping of supply, which we just covered. I shared earlier that over the past year, prices dropped more than competitor chains. And I'm seeing a lot of this would be the last straw. I really think a lot of people are just going to be fed up if this happens. Bottom line, I hope this is not true. It's just what I meant to say. I really think it would be awful for Algorand. So far, I haven't confirmed it. So it's not 100% yet, but something we're keeping an eye on. If this happens, I am out. Exactly. I will liquidate my favorite crypto and spin down my node if this happens. If it's on Algorand, that source you're getting this info from, they won't cap its supply, bailing out the foundation. Yeah, so, and like I said, it is something that it's being discussed by some pretty major players in the space right now, and it's not something that is completely off the table. So just keep in mind, who knows, this might not happen. I kind of hope it doesn't happen. And one of the reasons I want to talk about it is to hopefully influence people that matter to back off of this. So my guess is that they're kind of floating this out there, which is what my sources tell me. They're floating this out there to get sentiment back. Basically, I just think it's a bad idea. I don't think they should do it. And that's why I'm bringing this up, because I want to get out in front of this and say, hey, this is probably a bad idea. So hopefully it's not going to happen. Probably will affect how I see Algorand if that's the case. Hasn't gone well for Polygon. Polygon has been in the tank. We'll see. Now other chains have, do have uncapped supply, but they haven't deliberately changed it. That's a big deal. BNB did though. So, but they have the demand, so they probably can afford to do it. Anyway, that's all for today. I'm FrugalBC. I hope you got something out of this. Like I said, leave your comments about this uncapping business in the comments below, or anything else you want to comment. Otherwise, I will see you in the future.